Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And this week we are discussing the episode Apocalypse Nowish. This episode originally aired November 17th, 2002, attracting an audience of approximately 4.25 million viewers. Alrighty. So, why don't we start off with the number one film in America this week, Dave? Any guesses?
Fuzzy from last week's pick and
Last week was 8 Mile.
Again, I'd like to say it's something different, but I don't exactly know anything immediately off my mind.
I'll give you a hint. The second. I think it's the second. I don't know. I believe the second movie in a very large franchise.
Oh, then probably a pick I had a while back that was not picked up the properly ones, but supposedly Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes, is that the second one?
Yes.
Okay, because I did not know.
I mostly just know it because it was the first Harry Potter video game I started with. The snake was a bitch.
Yeah, I think I read the first book and maybe the second, and then I never saw any of the movies or played the video games or cared. So, moving along to the number one song in America this week, Dave. Any idea what that could be? I'll give you a hint. It's related to the movie from last week.
No, yes. But I believe it was the case of last week's pick, but the title is completely vacated by mind.
It's Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Then,
It's the only Eminem song you know.
yeah.
No, I don't want to donate right now, Wikipedia. Stop asking me. Alrighty, and now we're going to move on to video games. Scrolling. This was a hell of a year. Okay. Alright. So, for this week, we had, on November 17th, if you had a PS2, you could pick up a game called Haven Call of the King, which I'm not familiar with. Are you?
No, I think I vaguely know of the title, but no specific gameplay or experience with it.
Oh, okay. Also on the 17th, if you had a Game Boy Advance, you could pick up Justice League Injustice for All. No idea.
Supposedly good. Probably based on the Justice League cartoon.
Maybe? Was that 2002?
Maybe that heading more into 2003.
I thought the Justice League cartoon was later. But I also am notoriously terrible with time. So let's see. Justice League... Oh no, 2001 to 2004, you're right. So probably, yeah. Okay, if you had a GameCube, also on the 17th, you could pick up Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which for some reason came out a day later on GameCube than PS2.
You know, good thing that GameCube is supposedly getting N-rated games.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good one, too. November 18th, if you had a GameCube, you could pick up Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Yes.
Also on November 18th, if you had an Xbox, you could pick up Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell.
Yes.
Did you ever play Splinter Cell?
No, not with Splinter Cell. It was one of those series I always saw or heard news about, but it was just never one that I got into.
It's being rebooted in the next little while, so I am hoping that will not suck.
Yeah.
Also on November 18th, if you had a PS2, you could pick up Rocky, as in, like, based off of the movie Rocky.
The newest movie or the
No.
franchise as a whole?
If I remember correctly, it's kind of the franchise as a whole, but I think I don't really remember that game. It's very forgettable. Okay, also on November 18th, if you had a PS2, oh my god, you had the best game to pick up. Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yes, that's quite amazing.
It is very good. Also on the 18th, if you had an Xbox, you could pick up Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which, again, I don't know why it came out later on Xbox than the other systems.
Just the case of most likely the companies having to go through all their silly systems to get things figured out.
I don't know. On the 18th, if you had a PS2, you could pick up a game called Dead to Rights.
Oh, okay.
Which sure is a game.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, because the next episode doesn't air until January, I'm going to kind of skim through a bunch of stuff because otherwise we will quite literally be here all day.
Yeah.
So, other stuff that came out this year that I just want to highlight. Okay. So, a little game on the PS2 and GameCube on the 19th of November, 007 Nightfire.
Ah, yes.
You played Nightfire, right?
No.
What? You've never... Oh my god, Dave. We're going to play Nightfire at some point.
Nah.
Maybe when I get my GameCube working.
Yeah.
On the 19th as well... Oh my god. If you had GameCube or an Xbox, you could pick up Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. On the 19th on the PS2, you could also get Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Ah, yes.
November 21st, in Japan on the Game Boy Advance, you could pick up Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Ah, yes, when that all happened.
Were those particularly good ones? Because I've never played them.
It was the marvelous case in my young child life being like, Pokemon isn't going the way I want it to. Forget these games, and not bothering with the series until Generation 4 happened. But that's another story.
Okay, I have literally played Pokemon Red and Ultra Moon. Was that the one I bought for the 3DS?
Yes, when you decided to jump back into the series to see what sort of insanity has happened.
Yeah, because y'all tried to explain Pokemon to me, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And technically I've played Pokemon Stadium.
Yes.
This ends the list, I think.
I also wouldn't be surprised if you managed to get your hands on Pokemon Snap, but...
I might have played that back in the day.
It's a short experience, and it might be forgettable.
I might have played that back in the day. I don't remember. Anyway, November 22nd, if you had an Xbox, you could pick up Fatal Frame. Are you familiar with Fatal Frame? Fatal Frame is a game I always wanted to play, but never got around to. I would understand you not being familiar with Fatal Frame.
Like, the only one thing that's coming to mind is just the particular box art that had it was of a military guy getting kind of possessed and whatnot by ghostly gentlemen and the blue veins and the whatnot. I think I might be getting confused.
I think so. Fatal Frame is like survival horror game that has a lot. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's the one that you have like a camera.
No, there it is. It's unlocked the particular thing in my brain and the fact that, oh my god, that is a series.
Yes, it is. And it's one of those series that I've always been like, I should play that, but I've never gotten around to.
You know, because it's the spookies, and you have to kind of get up and close and personal with the thingies.
Well, and I like the spookies. So on November 26th, if you had a PS2, this I'm not highlighting for a good reason, but because it's funny, Legends of Wrestling 2. That game was shit. November 26th, if you had a Game Boy Advance and I don't know why you would pick this up, but you could get Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 3.
Because, it's a game. Game Boy Advance.
I guess. November 28th, on Windows, you could pick up 007 Nightfire, which I want to say that game is not the same as the console version. That there's actually it's not like a wholly different game, but there are differences.
Oh, okay.
I think the PC one doesn't have like the driving missions, and then it has something else in it. It's kind of a weird thing, if I remember correctly. On November 28th, if you had a PS2 in Europe, you could pick up Space Channel 5 Part 2.
Yes, because that is a game.
It definitely is. December 1st, if you had a PS2, you could pick up Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. Okay. December 3rd, if you had a PS2, you could pick up Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Ah, yes, the start of the series.
I think I've played Budokai 2, and that is the only Dragon Ball Z game I've ever played.
I think I tried out a demo of 3 when I was around, but yeah.
December 3rd, on the Game Boy Advance, a little game called The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past 4 Swords Adventures comes out.
Ah, yes, the marvelous revival of a particular game, an interesting concept of a thing, which they tried to start, but, oh dear God, the stuff that you needed for it.
Yeah, that was a game that...
It would be an amazing concept to release nowadays with the connectivity that is, But when they release it, then it's like, sure, you can play this game if you have all the cables,
Well, no,
4 other people,
no.
all connected it.
Dave, I think you're confusing it with Four Swords Adventures. A Link to the Past was a remake of A Link to the Past, but it had the separate mode where you could do 4-player.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't as bad as the one they put on the GameCube, where you had to have 4 players.
No, I think it was as bad.
Okay, well, difference of opinion. Moving right along, on December 13th, if you had a GameCube and you lived in Japan, oh my god, did you get a hell of a Christmas present from Nintendo. The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker.
Ah, yes. Very much appreciated today, but when it first came out, everyone had a flippin' shit show about it.
I was one of them. I was like, what's this cartoony shit?
Mm.
But now I'm like, oh, the game's beautiful.
You play it and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
It still holds up.
Yes.
And it's multiple generations old. It's great.
Mm.
And on December 30th and 31st, depending if you had an Xbox or a GameCube, you could pick up the Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
Ah, yes.
That was quite a fun little game.
Mm.
Alrighty, moving on to the episode. Because I'm sure nothing bad will happen in this episode, and everything will be super happy and nothing terrible, right?
Yeah, of course, because it says apocalypse, but it's not right now.
It's now-ish. The ish is the important part. Anyway, alrighty. Okay. Cordelia tells Angel that she still loves him, but during her time as a higher power, she saw and felt all the carnage he formerly wrought as Angelus. She now needs him to give her time to sort out her feelings. When Lauren wants to learn what Cordelia remembers about her time as a higher power, Angel insists that they wait. Connor comforts Cordelia after another nightmare featuring the demon from her visions. Meanwhile, as Angel Investigations is flooded with calls involving paranormal activity all over Los Angeles, Wesley returns home after fighting a bug infestation to find Lila dressed as Fred for sexual role-playing. That certainly is the thing that happened. Suddenly, Cordelia starts breathing hard, and her eyes turn white as she warns Angel that he's coming. Cordelia lies down and tells Angel and Connor that what she remembers of her vision. Back at the hotel, Lauren picks up on the strained relationship between Fred and Gunn, since they jointly sought revenge on the man who sent Fred to the Hell Dimension. Fred has not been able to forgive Gunn for their actions. She leaves for the diner where she and Gunn are regulars. Angel goes to Wolfram and Hart to demand that Lila return the information the law firm sucked out of Lauren's head about the impending apocalypse. Cordelia and Connor walk into an alleyway that Cordelia recognizes as the place where Connor was born, where Darla stakes herself. A large horned demon bursts from the ground before them, knocking them both down. Connor attacks, but he takes a brutal beating before the demon strides away. Cordelia tends to Connor's wounds and finds that he has broken ribs. Apparently she has freaking X-ray eyes. You can't tell that somebody has a broken bone just by... Well, okay. You can in certain cases.
Like, you can see it's bruised, but I don't think that's enough to say, oh my god, you broke your ribs.
Well, I mean, like, if he broke them so badly that they were puncturing the skin, you could.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, you can't. Especially with... Well, you might with, like, an arm, because it would be, like, fucked, but I don't think you could with ribs. At the diner, a waitress tries to advise Fred on her relationship troubles until an earthquake shatters the diner's windows. Meanwhile, unable to locate Fred, Gunn is restless and tries to leave to find her, but Wesley appears and interrupts his departure. Aware of all the strange occurrences around town, he offers to work with them to deal with this problem, but Gunn's too angry with Wesley to even consider the idea. Angel stops them all from leaving because he has information from Lila that they must study to prevent the end of the world. The trio examine the pages containing information stolen earlier from Lauren's brain. Another call is taken by Lauren, and Angel instructs him to start mapping the locations from where the calls originate. The pages make no sense until Gunn sees that all the pages fit together like a puzzle. Rearranging the sheets reveals a symbol shaped like a square with an X inside representing the Eye of Fire. Lauren makes another discovery. The mapped locations of several strange occurrences form the same pattern. Angel and the gang determine that the location on the map that appears in the middle of the X is a popular club on a high rooftop. They arrive at the club to find a mass of dead bodies and the beast waiting for them. Angel and the team take on the demon but are overpowered. Crossbows, axes, and swords don't have much impact, so Wesley tries a series of guns that also fail. Angel renews the battle and manages to send the demon to its knees until the demon stakes him in the neck. The demon sends Angel flying off the roof onto the city street. The demon forms the Eye of Fire using the dead bodies and sets them ablaze. Angel rips the stake from his neck and slowly begins to recover. The fire on the roof rises towards the sky, and soon fire starts to rain down as Cordelia and Connor watch. Connor blames himself for the whole situation, but Cordelia comforts and reassures him that he's not to blame. Cordelia kisses Connor and offers him the chance to feel something real. While everyone else watches the fire, fearing the future that awaits them, Connor and Cordelia have sex. Connor is seeking comfort in her arms. Angel is shown to be observing through the window on top of a nearby building. Dun dun dun. So, what do we think of this episode?
Ugh.
Some creepy shit happens.
Ugh. Just the marvelous case of, ooh, this is not great.
So, okay. Who do you think is on in? There's a lot of people being creepy in this, specifically at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
First off, Angel shouldn't be watching them fuck. That's creepy. 2, Cordelia, you shouldn't be fucking someone who you change their diaper.
Yeah, no.
These are just basic rules for life.
Yeah, just a teeny bit. Just within the whole cornucopia of an episode and series, it's somewhat understandable with her thought process sort of going on, but it's also kind of the case of, sweetie, you maybe want to run that idea through your head one more time before going about it.
Yeah, you changed his diapers, you don't get to fuck him. I'm sorry, this is a rule. I know he was in another dimension and time moved differently there and he's not a child anymore. I don't care.
Just,
It's creepy. Okay. Did you have anything else about this episode?
I think just the case of all the particular stuff kind of coming to a head and with how things were kind of going about it. Just what sort of stuff's going to kind of be going on from here. Because the one particular thing that kind of got under my skin was, oh god, those rats.
Yes. Alrighty. So for international titles, we only have 2 this week, but they're both bangers.
Mm-hmm.
So in German, this is one I think that's the weakest. In German, it translates as The Arrival. That's pretty good. Because it is the beast arriving, so okay. However, in French, the French got it going this week. It translates as The Rain of Fire.
Because you know,
as
the
in
thing that
rain.
It's the thing that kind of happened in the episode.
It absolutely is. And, well, some shit's gonna go down. So, if there's nothing else, next week we'll be talking about an episode called Habeas Corpses. Okay. There's only so much I can tell you about this episode. And all I'm going to say is that Angel is going to learn that Connor is trapped in Wolfram and Hart, which is under attack from the Beast.
Oh, joy. So, we know immediately what's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to be super, super happy, and nobody's going to get depressed or angry or anything.
Sweetie, with how this episode ended, just no. Not even with the jokiness, no.
It's going to be an episode. So until next time, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.